Good morning. Our topic for today is about or under business planning unit. The previous unit that we discussed provided the background on how business ideas are created by the entrepreneur. Business ideas may be feasible, but the business would end up unsuccessful if the enterprise is not properly managed. So it is also the job of entrepreneur to learn the mechanics and planning and managing a business successful. So in this unit, this will help us emphasizes the different stages in planning and managing an enterprise. It also discusses the various local and the foreign forms of assistance that an entrepreneur can tap and the process of legalizing a business. Let's start with the lesson number one, which is entitled Stages in Planning and Managing an Enterprise. So we will going to talk first the importance of business planning. Number one is it provides directions. The plan provides the entrepreneur a guide to his daily schedule. Further, it is provides a checklist of the goal to attain by the firm and its employees, as well as the ways to attain these goals, the timetable in attaining these goals, and the people that should attain them. For example, if the firm would like to attain a 10 million profit each year, how many years from now can it be achieved? Number two, eliminates business risk. So the planning stage can identify risks that can be avoided before they are made. However, if this risk cannot be avoided, one can at least identify the strategies in confronting this risk. Without planning, this risk cannot be detected. To continue the preceding example, the entrepreneur must ask, what are the risks in attaining the 10 million profit? Next is as a controlling measure, planning provides basis for comparison between the target goals and the actual things that are happening. When comparison are done, the strength and weaknesses of the firms are identified in this light. Corrections can be done before weaknesses get worse. Again, let us continue the preceding example for the 10 million profit may not be achieved in 1 year. However, the entrepreneur must assess constantly, perhaps at least twice or once a year, whether the efforts are still concerted to that goal. Next is about features of a good plan. So after being convinced of the importance of a business plan, you are now prepared to make one. So what are the characteristics of a business plan? The author identified these features as what we called sail. So plans let the firm sail toward the future. So what does sail stands for? SEAL S for is specific. So a plan must be particular in its undertaking so the employees would clearly know rather what should be achieved. Broad plans will only lead to confusion since this can be interpreted in various ways. Thus, plans should be qualified in some sort. If plans cannot be measured, how would you know if this were attained or not? For example, of a specific and measurable plan is to reduce expenses by 20% to improve profitability instead of just saying improve the profitability. Another example is increasing the firm's market share by 10% instead of just increasing the market share. So there are two features of specific plans. We have the first one, a business plan must indicate the people who are accountable for the plan and who implements them. Second, a business plan must contain the basic business ideas, whether it is related to operating, marketing, financial, or management considerations. Next, letter is A, which means attainable. The plan set out must be feasible. If plans are impossible to achieve, then it is not realistic at all. Employees get discouraged and become demotivated workers rather than achievers. As an example, you might want to become the leader in the industry that you are currently in. So this is a good plan, but do you think you can do it? Do you have the financial resources, manpower, skills, and other needed factors to accomplish your plans? So the plan should include how to measure whether they are met or not. These measures could be in terms of quantity, However, many were produced um, by means of the quantity itself, the quality, the time, the cost, and this will surely help identify whether the one implementing the plans is able to attain what was desired. Next letter for the features of a good plan, which is SAIL, is I, which stands for intelligible. Plans must be clearly understood by those who will implement them. If not, it may lead to several interpretations. So, thus, communication is very important in business. Without it, how would the plans clearly and very important in business? So, um, how would the plans clearly and effectively reach out to those people below the organization? A clearly statement of objective is necessary so that those who will be involved in the execution of the plan will understand and believe and support it. The last letter of features sale is L, which means limited time. So plans should have a time period for them to be accomplished. Operational plans, which is are short plans or short-term plans applicable for 1 year period, while we have the strategic plans, which are long-term plans ranging from 5 to 10 years. Now, let's talk about key activities of the business. So, a business is always confronted with several activities to perform. These activities are related to production, marketing, organizational, and financial aspect. First, let's talk about production. So, production, this refers to aspects related to raw materials, workers, quantity produced. And for example, if the business is involved with manufacturing dresses, the company must identify the um, materials needed to produce dresses. So most likely, it will identify needs such as cloth, buttons, zippers, laces, and the like, and the quantity of dresses that should be produced. It must also need to know how many sewers should be hired. Next is marketing. So marketing, this will refer to the areas related to the sale and distribution of the products and services. Should the firm use distributors in selling its products, or should it sell the goods directly to consumers? At the same time, also includes the analysis of the opportunities and threats in the market. So the firm should know the advantages of the business in the market and the possible problems that the entrepreneur must or might encounter. Next, we have organizational. So this is related to the recruitment, selection, and the placement of employees. So the entrepreneur must identify the skills necessary to achieve the goals of the business. How many workers does the firm need? How much salary do they deserve? What are their specific work functions? And last, we have financial. So this is related to the management of funds and their disbursement. How much funds are needed, what are the sources of funds, and what are the disbursement for. Next is about using of business plans. So business plans are very important. So important to whom? Who will use the business plans? The users of the business plans are the following. So we have existing investors rather or owners. So these business plans inform the owners as to what could possibly happen to their investment. So this will also guide them whether a higher or lower rate of return should be expected. So at the same time, this will indicate whether or not the existing funds are enough for future plans. And we have also managers. Business plans guide the managers in their day-to-day supervision of the business. So this will help them avoid risks and dangers in the management of the business, and this will guide them in supervising their employees. We have also the potential investors. So prospective investors depends on the business plan as to whether they will invest in the business or not. It also tells them what to expect from the business by informing them whether or where it is heading to. Um, the users also are creditors and potential creditors. Suppliers are often very interested in the plan. Why? It is because they want to know the capacity of the firm to pay its loans. They do not want to lose money. They have to screen their clients. One device that is used for screening loan applicants is the soundness of the business plans. And last is existing employees, of course. So business plans provide the employees a sense of security that they are connected with a stable firm with a sense of direction. So aside from this, plans will also guide them in their day-to-day work. So as you can see in the picture, so we have the users of business plans, we have the insiders and the outsider. For the insiders, we have the entrepreneur and the management team and the employees itself. While the outsiders, it can be potential customers, lenders, suppliers, investors, and then under investors are family friends, private investors, and venture capitalists. Next, the process of a strategic plan. So, what do you mean by a strategic plan and who prepares this plan? So, strategic plans are long term plans ranging from 5 to 10 years. So, these are set by the top administration, and these plans are the basis for short term or operational plans. And the steps in doing strategic plans are the following. So, we follow some of the steps. So, the first one is step one, defining institutional purposes, vision, and mission. So, what is the purpose of your business? So, what are its primary and secondary purposes? So, the purpose of a firm are the reasons for its creation. For example, the primary purpose of a service firm is basically to provide its intended service, while the primary purpose of merchandising and manufacturing firms is to sell. So secondary purposes could be those functions that are inherent to the firm's operation, such as the recruitment of personnel, obtaining loans, acquisition and disposal of fixed assets, and the like. So when you say vision, take note, vision is the aspiration and the dream of the business, while organizational mission is the set of strategies to achieve the purpose and vision. Next step is what we call the setting up of organization goals. So organization goals could be long term or short term. So goals provide performance targets or standards that managers and the subordinates have to achieve towards the attainment of the vision. Next step, we have formulation of the strategic plan. So this is very important. So in developing a strategic plan, a manager and a team must consider the firm's the what we call the SWOT analysis or SWOT. So this analysis identifies the strength and weaknesses of the organization and the opportunities and the posing threats or problems that lie before it. So this aspect will provide the firm the basis to ascertain where the firm stands and how far it should go to achieve its objective. After analyzing these aspects, the firm could establish its strategic plan. So let's talk about SWOT. So SWOT stands for S stands for strength. These are the internal factors that provide favorable situation to the organization compared to other firms. W stands for weaknesses, and these are internal factors that are considered as the weak points of the business compared to other competitors. O stands for opportunities, and these are potential favors and benefits coming from external factors. And T stands for threats. These are the risks of the business arising from external factors. To understand more about SWOT, So, uh, for the strength or the S, things your company does well, the quality that separate you from your competitors, internal resources such as skilled, knowledgeable staff, tangible assets such as intellectual property, capital, proprietary technologies, etc. And for the W are the weaknesses, things your company lacks, things your competitors do better than you, resource limitations, unclear, unique selling proposition. And O for opportunities, underserved rather markets for specific products, few competitors in your area, emerging need for your products or services, press media coverage of your company. And then T for stands for threats, emerging competitors, changing regulatory environment, negative press, media coverage, changing customers' attitudes towards your company. So here are some suggested questions that you can ask yourself to know the strength, the weakness, and the opportunities and threats of your company or firms. For the strength, what does the organization do well? What unique experience knowledge does the organization possesses? What geographic advantages does the organization possess? What is the organization's reputation or ratings in the industry? And are there any unique characteristics about your organization? Next, for the weakness says, where does the organization need to improve? Are there financial challenges? Does the organization have a bad reputation? Are the any gaps in geography that create a limitation or issue? Are the right people doing the right jobs? And how string is the management or how strong is the management? Next, for the opportunity. So these are the questions. Are these opportunities for partnerships or alliances? What are the industry trends that you could take advantage of? What new products are in development that could create an advantage? How can you work to reduce cost? And how can you become more nimble and flexible? For the threats, questions are is there seasonality in your business? Do certain major customers contributes to a large percentage of revenue? What is the forecast for your cost? And how is technology changing? And of course, how strong are your competitors? And last, what is the environment changing? So to help you understand the SWOT, the S or the strength and the opportunities are helpful, while the weaknesses and the threats are harmful to your firm. So strength and weaknesses is the internal origin of your company or the firms, while opportunity and threats are the external origin of your firms or company. Okay, next step is approval of strategic plans, which is under the process of strategic planning. So once these strategic plans are formulated already, these are then subjected to final approval by the board of directors. Then the next step, dissemination of strategic plans. So strategic plans are formulated by the top administration, and these directions will now be passed on the lower hierarchy of the organization until these plans reach the rank and file workers. And we also have the step number 6, which is implementation of the strategic plans. And this is the after approval of the plans. So these are now ready for implementation. So in the implementation portion, the respective units and the individuals accountable for their accomplishment must be identified. So, and then these people would now start doing the action. And last step, we have the evaluation of the strategic plan. So the last phase of strategic planning is evaluating the plan itself. So The top management must now assess whether the firm has been able to achieve its directions. If not fully achieved, what is the level of achievement? The evaluation phase leads to the identification of the actual results and the appraisal as to whether these actual results meet the set of expectation. So for now, that's the end of our lesson number 1 under business planning. So, by the way, this is the strategic plan process. So we have the gather facts, the SWOT analysis, the review inputs, strategic matrix, define strategies, and final reviews. So for the gather facts, you gather inputs from all stakeholders, customer analysis, competitor analysis, industry analysis, environmental, company performance, and company strategies. For the SWOT analysis, it is um, external analysis, opportunities, threats, internal analysis, strength, weaknesses, strategic questions, and strategic issues. For the review inputs, all stakeholders review inputs, review SWOT analysis, and define the 3 and 4 key statement. For strategic matrix, all stakeholders define strategies to address what combination, opportunities versus strength, opportunities versus weaknesses, threat versus strength, and threats versus weaknesses. For define strategies, objectives, the key strategies, short and long-term goals, and operational plans. And for the final reviews, all stakeholders review goals, review plans, and then adjust as necessary. For the references of our topic for today or lesson for today, and disclaimer, thank you so much for the following: Tristan Laruan, Maurice Garvides, De La Salle Araneta University, and DY Scholastic Press Incorporation.